In a time long before computers, printers, or even newspapers, the world was very different. Books were rare treasures, usually copied by monks who spent months or even years writing each page by hand. Because of this slow process, only rich people, kings, and scholars could own books. Ordinary people almost never had access to reading or learning. Knowledge traveled slowly, like a whisper moving from village to village. Ideas took decades to spread. If someone discovered something important in one place, it could take a lifetime for others to learn about it. But change was coming, and a single man was about to transform the world. Johannes Gutenberg was born around the year 1400 in the German city of Mainz. It was a busy place full of merchants, craftsmen, and travelers. Gutenberg grew up in a family of metalworkers, people who shaped gold, silver, and other metals with great skill. From a young age, he was curious and observant. He liked to watch how metal melted in the fire and how a simple piece of iron could become something useful. While other children played outside, Gutenberg spent time near his father's workshop, fascinated by the transformation of raw materials into tools and ornaments. He also loved knowledge and wondered why books were so rare and why only a few people could learn from them. Even without knowing it, the seeds of his greatest invention were already inside him. As he grew older, Gutenberg's interest in metalworking became even stronger. He learned how to heat metal, shape it, and create small, detailed pieces. But he was not satisfied with copying what others did. He wanted to experiment and invent. In the workshops of Mainz and Strasbourg, he tested new tools and new techniques. He studied how metals behaved under pressure, how they cooled, and how they could be molded with accuracy. These early experiments taught him patience, discipline, and creativity. Metal became more than a material for him. It became a key to a bigger idea. He observed how craftsmen used molds to create identical shapes, and a powerful thought entered his mind. If shapes could be repeated endlessly, why not letters? The more Gutenberg learned, the more he realized one painful truth. Books were too rare, too expensive, and too slow to produce. He imagined a world where ideas could travel quickly, where education was not limited to the wealthy, and where important texts could reach many people. Each time he held a handwritten manuscript, he asked himself how the process could be faster. He began studying presses, mechanical systems, and anything that could help him multiply books. Slowly, he understood that the secret was in the letters themselves. If each letter could be created separately and reused many times, books could finally be produced on a large scale. His great idea was now clear. Gutenberg started creating movable type, individual metal letters that could be arranged and rearranged to form any text. To make this work, he needed perfect letters, strong, durable, and exactly the same size. He used all his knowledge of metalworking to create molds and test different metal mixtures. Every letter, every number, and every punctuation mark was cast by hand. For the first time, text became flexible, like a puzzle that could be rebuilt endlessly. Gutenberg had found the missing piece. Now he needed the machine that would bring everything to life. He studied heavy wooden presses used for grapes and olive oil, and realized they could be transformed into printing machines. He redesigned the structure, improved the pressure system, and created a flat surface where metal letters could rest safely. He also invented a special oil-based ink that stuck to metal and transferred clearly to paper. When everything finally came together, the movable type, the press, and the ink, the result was extraordinary. Words could now be printed quickly and consistently. A single machine could do the work of many scribes. Gutenberg had built the first modern printing press, and the world was about to change. But Gutenberg kept his invention secret. He was afraid others would steal it, so only trusted workers entered his workshop. The first printed pages were simple tests, each one teaching him something new. The alignment, the ink, the pressure, everything had to be perfect. With time, the pages became clearer and the machine faster. Inside the workshop, excitement grew. The workers knew they were witnessing something historic. Identical pages appeared one after another, something no one had ever seen before. Gutenberg knew it was time to prove the true power of his invention. He chose the most important project of his life, printing a complete Bible. At that time, the Bible was the most respected book in Europe. Gutenberg wanted his version to be perfect, beautiful, accurate, and consistent. He selected fine paper, designed elegant typefaces, and organized his team. The printing process was intense. Workers placed the letters, inked the type, pressed the sheets, and rearranged the letters again. The Bible of 42 lines was the result of years of effort. It was clear, balanced, and stunning. Many copies were later hand-colored, making each one a masterpiece. Gutenberg had proven that printing was not only fast, but also capable of producing books of great beauty. But even with his success, Gutenberg faced financial problems. Building the machine, buying supplies, and paying workers required a lot of money. To continue his work, he borrowed from a wealthy businessman named Johann Fust. With time, costs grew, and Gutenberg struggled to repay the loan. Fust became impatient, and their partnership turned into a legal battle. In court, Gutenberg lost his workshop, his presses, and even many printed pages. Fust took control of the printing business, and Gutenberg stood outside his own creation, watching others profit from his ideas. It was a painful loss, but his invention was already spreading. Across Europe, printers built new shops in Strasbourg, Cologne, Venice, Paris, and London. Books became more affordable. Knowledge traveled faster. Students, merchants, priests, and scientists all benefited from printed pages. Europe entered a new age of learning and discovery. Literacy increased, education expanded, and new ideas spread with incredible speed. The Renaissance, the Scientific Revolution, and the Protestant Reformation all grew stronger. Because of printing, Gutenberg himself did not become rich, but his invention opened the door to the modern world. As Gutenberg grew older, he lived modestly. He no longer controlled his workshop, but he never stopped improving his ideas. Near the end of his life, the Archbishop of Mainz granted him a small pension, giving him some comfort and recognition. People began to understand the true value of his invention and how it was changing society. Gutenberg died in 1468, quietly and without celebration. But every printed page, in every city, carried his legacy forward. Johannes Gutenberg did not live to see his full impact, but history remembers him as the man who transformed knowledge itself. His printing press gave humanity the power to share ideas, learn freely, and dream bigger. It changed communication, education, science, religion, and the future of the entire world. He opened the door to learning for millions. He helped build the foundation of modern society. Johannes Gutenberg, the man who turned silence into voices, ideas into pages, and dreams into reality.